Hey there, it's Laurel, and today I'm so honored to be part of the Essentials by Ellen Holiday release blog hop. I have two videos up today. One is a video with just a product reveal of all the products in the hop today, and today this one is for this card right here that I'm going to be showing you. So be sure to check out my other video to see all of the products in the release, and this video is showing a project using one of the products from the release. So I'm using this Missile and Holly stamp set design. All these stamps and dies are designed by Julie Ebersole. And I'm going to take that little flower die, and that is a sticky note. It's actually a full adhesive back sticky note I got from Target. And I'm going to go ahead and just ink that up, and I'm going to create a mask for this particular flower here. So I'm just stamping that in any kind of ink. I'm going to take the coordinating die and layer it over that sticky note, and then I'm going to run that through my die cutting machine. And in doing this, I'm going to have a mask that I'm going to be able to use to create the card here. So once I line up that die, I'm going to run it through my machine, and then I've got my little mask there. I'm using a little embossing buddy, which will prevent embossing powder from sticking where I don't want it. I'm going to be using some Versamark and doing some heat embossing. If you don't have a tool like this, you can use, my friend Laura Sturks uses flour from the kitchen. I've never tried that, but she uses it and it works. You can also use a fabric softener sheet or baby powder. I've used the fabric softener and the baby powder before, and it works just great. So I'm going to be inking up all of these images with some Versamark ink, and then I'm going to be sprinkling on some Ranger Super Fine Detail White Embossing Powder. And all of these images are going to be heat embossed with that. So I'm just kind of lining up where I want things to go. I don't do a lot of masking, to be honest with you, because it requires a lot of work and thinking and placement and what I want to show and all that good stuff. But with this set, it's easy because I'm just kind of creating this little cluster of flowers of mistletoe and holly. So I'm going to take that one mask, I'm going to cover up that one main flower, and then I'm going to go in and just start adding bits and pieces from the other images from the stamp set. Again, inking them all up with Versamark ink, which is a clear sticky ink for heat embossing. And then I will sprinkle on that embossing powder. Now I'm going to heat set as I go. It's easier that way. For one, I can see what I'm doing. And I'm working off of that card base there that I'm using is Nina Desert Storm cardstock. It's 80 pound. It's a very, very, very pretty craft, like a light craft color, and I really like it. So again, I've gone ahead and placed that mask right back over the top, and I'm just going to keep going. I'm grabbing the body of that, the negative space of that mask that I use, that sticky note, and I'll be using that. I'm using whatever I can to create this little masked bunch of mistletoe and holly. I didn't know how it was going to turn out until I was done, to be honest with you. Even when I got everything stamped and heat embossed, I still wasn't sure if it was going to turn out good, just because I don't do masking that much, so I just wasn't sure. Now in this case, I got a little lazy, so I just went ahead and stamped my image without using a mask over that embossed area. So I just took a dry paintbrush and just away before I went ahead and heat set it. The key to good heat setting is just let your heat tool heat up for a good 15 to 20 seconds if you can, and then you'll get a really quick heat set and an even one. It's going to push out a lot of good heat. So I think I'm just about done. I got to go in and add a sentiment, of course. I'm going to take that sentiment from that same stamp set, and I'm going to stamp it with the Versamark ink and also heat set it. I'm going to go ahead and get all of my heat setting out of the way. Now I'm working over a coffee filter. Another crafter had the idea of doing this. Julie Ebersole does it as well, but she keeps her coffee filter in a bowl. You can also work off of a piece of scratch paper that you fold in half, and you can use that crease to funnel it back inside your embossing jar, just whatever works for you to catch that excess powder and funnel it back into your jar. Now I'm going to do some coloring. Again, at this point, I wasn't sure how this was going to look. There was a couple of spots that I missed with my heat embossing. So I'm taking my white gel pen and just going over some of those areas that I missed, and no one will ever know. And then I'm going to take these Prisma colored pencils. They work so beautifully over the cardstock. They just are nice and creamy. Another colored pencil that I like are the Aqua Grip colored pencils by Faber-Castell as well. Those are good too. These just happen to be within reach, so I'm going with them. So I'm going to go in and create I'm going to use 3 different greens. I'm going to use red and purple. I'm going to turn on some music here because, I have no tips for coloring because I'm not an expert at all. I don't follow the rules. I just kind of color and hope that it turns out okay, to be honest with you. So I'm going to play some music, and then I'll be back to finish out the card with you guys. right, so you can see I went in with just a few different colored pencils and colored in my images. I love how the color pops off that craft cardstock. This is some pattern paper from the Peace, Love, and Joy 12 by 12 collection kit by Lawn Fawn. That was released a couple years ago. I love that striped pattern paper. So what I've done here, I'm going to have a standard A2 card base, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. That panel that we just colored on is 3.75 by 5. I am mounting that to a 4 by 5 1/4, so 4 by 5.25 piece of pattern paper. And then I'm going to go ahead and adhere all that down to my card base. And I just thought adding that little bit of striped pattern paper really pulled everything together here and tied in the colors nicely. And again, I just love how colored pencils look on dark and colored cardstock. I think it's just so pretty. And as a finishing touch to add some texture, I'm going to take some liquid pearls by Ranger. This is in the color Ruby Red. They're it's pearlescent. It's quite pretty. Comes in a bunch of different colors. And I'm going to go in and fill in all those little red circles of the little holly in the centers there. Just go ahead and drop those in there. I encourage you to, whether you're using stickles or anything like this, to go ahead and squirt some out on some scratch paper first, because there's usually an air bubble in there. And if you don't, you're going to get a big blob on your project. Ask me how I know. Then I'm just flicking it from the back to make sure I don't have any peaks. I want that to dry nice and round. And then that's the card. That's it. This is a great release. Lots of fun stamp sets, lots of coordinating dies. I encourage you to make sure to check out my other video if you haven't already, and you'll see a close-up of all of the products. And make sure you head on over to my blog, laurelbeard.org. There's a blog hop going on. Lots and lots and lots of talented designers in on this blog hop. I'm so humbled to be a part of it. And each hopper has a giveaway. So make sure that you leave a comment on each of the hoppers' blogs, and you could win whatever they're giving away. And be sure to head on over to the classroom, because they have a huge giveaway going on over there right now too. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.